I think we're live.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
We did it.
Hello.
Hello.
We got through another week.
We got another week.
Another week. Here we are. It seems so recently that we were together.
Cannabis?
Mine is inspired by cannabis.
It was 420 this week.
Indeed, it was, and we had a wonderful sale on.
We had a wonderful sale. I didn't get to
introducing our new salves.
New salves, same formulas. What'd you say?
I said, tell us about them while I get them.
Yay! Same formulas, just larger sizes for the same price you guys were doing before. We've been working our butts off to make this happen. We've heard from a lot of you guys that it wasn't enough. It was going by too fast. It was working so well, but you'd have to buy it so often. So we got to do these guys. Now 2 ounce, 300 milligrams, but we also got 4 ounces for 600 milligrams. Got a horse label on it, but it could be used on any animals, including humans. So, yes, new salves, same formulations, double the amount, same great price. We're so excited.
Yes, so excited. Yeah. I'm mostly excited because now I don't have to go through as much for myself. Not that we really recommend using it for humans technically, however. I'm more dog than human anyway. It's all human grade.
Hello,
everybody.
Hello.
Tell us where you're from. If you're out there, say hello. Hi, Susan from Ohio.
Ohio. My voice is almost gone.
What's that from?
Musical called Wonderful Town.
Wonderful Town. Sounds wonderful.
It's very wonderful. Yes. Who else is here? We got 7 people. Amy from Pittsburgh.
We've got Amy from Pittsburgh.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us this Friday evening or afternoon, wherever you are. I'm in California again. Hernando's in Florida. Coming to you from across the country.
Yes. I'll be back in New York end of June, though. So you'll be seeing us from California, from New York, from Florida, everywhere.
Right, from your screen in your living room.
And New York legalized cannabis.
They did, finally. Yeah.
Finally. So awesome. Susan again, hello from South Carolina. Susan Robinson, we had 5 inches of snow Tuesday night.
Salt Lake City? Oh my gosh, we've got people from all over the place, Hernando. This is exciting.
Yeah. Hi, Heidi.
Very cool.
Awesome. Cool.
All right. Well, shall we go for it?
Shall we go for it? IBD.
Irritable bowel disease.
Which I actually found out is a syndrome, not a...
It's inflammatory bowel disease, not to be confused with. I said irritable bowel disease. It's inflammatory bowel disease and then irritable bowel syndrome, which are totally different things.
Yes. I actually also found out that IBD is not actually a disease; it's a syndrome. I didn't know.
Right.
But yeah, IBD, guys, is an umbrella term for a lot of different diseases that are all happening within our gut, our GI tract, our intestines. And humans, we have Crohn's disease, colitis, which also dogs get. But basically, IBD is chronic inflammation within the gut. It's our immune system trying to fight off what they're thinking is sometimes foreign invaders and sending out inflammatory responses that line up to our GI tract and cause chronic inflammation. That in itself has problems. That's going to cause some symptoms, but when there's too much inflammation in the gut, it's also hard for animals or us to properly absorb and digest nutrients. So it's going to cause a slew of even more problems. So managing, hopefully, that we don't get there to begin with, but of course, if they do have it, it could really cause a lot of pain, and then in the long term, a lot of really more severe issue. So if you think that your dog or cat or you are suffering from it, definitely start finding a way to treat it early on. There's no known cure, but there are ways to slow it down. There are ways to make it easier, and at least stop the symptoms.
Yeah, and there are a number of ways that you can test for it, that you can go to your vet and have them test for it. Some of them more invasive than others. There are some that require biopsy to actually look at the cells in your dog's intestines and see what's going on there. But then there are other tests that which are hard. It's hard on them.
Invasive, inexpensive, and that there's other ways.
There are other ways where they can just test their blood and see, based on some different chemical markers, whether the nutrient uptake is correct, and there are balances of other hormones in there that would indicate that there is that. So if you have the option, try not to go for the biopsy, which would involve anesthetic and a whole bunch of other things that, especially in older dogs, you really would not want to go through. Yeah,
totally. A lot of symptoms that dogs are getting from this, and cats. I have to keep saying cats because cats gets IBD quite often too. A lot of pain, number one, diarrhea, constipation, blood or mucus in the stool, vomiting. What am I missing? Fatigue, lack of appetite. Just a lot of pretty debilitating things that it's really going to it's quality of life. And if your animal is constantly in pain from all this inflammation, we need to get that inflammation down.
Right. And it can also kind of, it causes a whole bunch of sort of downstream effects. It's like one major problem that then kind of can really upset the whole system. And eventually it can really mess with the gut flora and cause dysbiosis, which is oftentimes what we kind of recognize is it's that imbalance of the bacteria in your dog's gut, so that there's more bad bacteria than that really good bacteria that's in there that we want to have. And it can also, when the gut is just processing things too fast and it's not absorbing the nutrients, you can get what is known as leaky gut, which can be really harmful to your pets. And eventually you can cause some downstream effects that start hurting the liver and kidneys and other filtration organs. So definitely something to take seriously. Get a proper diagnosis on if you've got these symptoms happening over a long period of time. We never want to freak people out and tell them, like, if your dog has diarrhea one time, you need to run out the door and talk to your vet. Shit happens. I love using that in these cases. But that being said, let's look for the patterns of long-term use or long-term side effects, long-term effects of this, and respond to that rather than kind of incidents.
Totally. Let's say some hellos before we move on. Angela Ardolino, our founder, is watching us. In the house. Woo! She's at her brand new all-natural boarding and grooming shop in downtown Tampa. If you're around, come check it out. It's called Beautify the Beast, beautifythebeast.com. Julia, hello. Just found you guys last week. Love you. Ordered Ease for our arthritic guy. Wonderful products. Julia, awesome. Welcome. What are you using Heal for? We want to hear. And Marie Malone, again. Hello. Susan says, my friend's dog has all the symptoms and is in the hospital right now. I invited her to join this video. Sending them all the love, and hopefully you can learn something to share with your friend today.
Yes. We're going to be getting to a lot of research and really great clinical information that shows how much this can help. So stick around for when we tell you what to do.
Yes. And Marie, I don't know why you're doing that embarrassed, sweaty guy, because the way I said that was just love. I love that you're here all the time.
Embarrassed? What do you mean? Oh, no.
Yeah, laughing out loud sideways, and then that little sweat, like, ha, ha, ha. That's how
my God. Yes. Yes.
And Julia says, CBD dog health. Woohoo, will do. Awesome. Woo-hoo. Cool. Where were we?
So we were just talking about kind of what it looks like and what causes, or what it is. So we can talk about what causes it. So, there's kind of this is one of those things that oftentimes it can be hard to figure out what is the first, like what came first, the chicken or the egg? Because a lot of these things are sort of self-perpetuating. But what kind of one of the consensus is that especially in dogs that are rescued or come from situations where they were maybe not eating the best food, they were getting into whatever they could so that they could feed themselves, that parasites are a big cause of IBD onset in younger dogs especially. And oftentimes these parasites can stick around for a long time without anybody ever knowing. And so you may have a dog that you've had for several years that you've just never been really able to get rid of these parasites. And then what can often happen after that is you get these parasites, and eventually a veterinarian's like, well, okay, let's get rid of them. And the way that they treat them is with a broad spectrum antibiotic. And as we know, one of the things that broad spectrum antibiotic is going to do is it's just going to kind of destroy everything, destroy all the bacteria throughout their gut. And, while there is a lot of bad bacteria that we want to get rid of, oftentimes you end up killing the good bacteria that is necessary for the proper digestion that your pet needs to have. So it starts becoming this self-perpetuating cycle of poor gut health, imbalance of gut bacteria. Oftentimes those antibiotics don't actually work for the types of parasites that there are in there. So you can just have these issues that kind of are compounding. And then another thing that can cause this is just poor immune health, which, as we know, is very connected to gut health in general. But as Hernando was saying, this is about an autoimmune response. This is about overproduction of these inflammatory compounds throughout the gut that are making the body inflame, reducing its actual functionality, and creating all these other side effects.
Totally.
That's
also food can trigger a lot of things, the wrong food, environmental problems, chemicals. There's quite a bit of talk also about certain vaccines as well. There's a lot that can go into it for sure. And on the antibiotics, I'm posting something here. If for some reason your animal does have to be on antibiotics, there's some pretty amazing research. Dr. Zach Philosoph, our chief vet, wrote this one about how CBD can actually help boost the effects of antibiotics. So if you want to learn that, check that out. Julia says, we are using it on the same guy with arthritis. He started having seizures 3 years ago after I gave him Brevecto before I knew better. Since starting Heal, which was about 6 months ago, purchased from Naturally Healthy Hemp. Awesome. That's Judy Morgan's shop. He hasn't had one seizure. Awesome.
Yay.
Who had a soft tissue sarcoma lump removed last year. Julia, I'm sorry that your baby's been going through this, but I'm so happy that it's going so well. We love Naturally Healthy Hemp. We love Judy Morgan for sure. And just like another dog to add to our list of seizure-free dogs.
Yeah, right. There's a lot now.
How freaking cool. Julia, if you haven't left us a review on our website, please do. You have no idea how much it helps us reach other pet parents. But I'm so happy. So happy to hear this. And Marie,
also, speaking of seizure stuff, we're getting way off topic, but if you guys haven't listened to It's a Dog's Life recently, the last interview I think that went up was with Dr. Amy McGrath and Angela Ardolino, and it's a fantastic interview. Amy McGrath is kind of like the preeminent veterinarian who's studying canine seizures at CSU, so definitely go check out that. She's amazing, and Angie and her have an incredible conversation. So Sam, if you could post that link so that everybody can go check it out. It's a really, really awesome episode of the podcast.
Yes. Julie, I love Dr. Judy Morgan. Yes, and thanks for leaving us a review. Awesome.
Yay, cool. Thank you. So we were just talking about what the causes are of IBD, and because this is such a large umbrella term, so many different causes, conditions, many of them kind of compounding and sort of contributing to each other, it can be hard to pinpoint and know exactly what is going on. But, you know, that is all the more reason to come at this issue from many different angles and not to just use a lot of these treatments that are being given by more traditional veterinarians that are looking to just suppress the symptom, as we often find, you know, using immunosuppressive drugs like steroids that are just going to turn off the body's inflammatory response without actually dealing with what's going on. You know, we really recommend going for something that is going to be a holistic approach that includes really wonderful natural supplements like CBD from a full spectrum hemp extract, as well as looking at the dietary changes that may need to happen, dealing with any possible parasites that are at the root of this, and building up proper gut health, all of which something like CBD is going to help with and facilitate.
Yep, totally. Well, let's talk a little bit about how CBD helps. Before we get to the specifics, I found this really awesome study done. It was on humans with Crohn's disease. So again, it's the United European Gastroenterology Conference.
Favorite gastroenterology conference. Yes.
Yes. They had 45 people that were given CBD, all of them suffering from severe symptoms from Crohn's disease. And 65% of the people who were given CBD came out in full remission of the symptoms.
After 2 months.
65% after 2 months, full remission of all the symptoms. That's not saying there's a cure, that's saying the symptoms, which is the most important thing, quality of life. So we know that. And that study was done, yes, with CBD, but also with THC, which is why it's so important to have a full spectrum product like ours. So yeah, that's awesome.
I agree.
65%.
It's crazy. That's a large percentage.
And full remission of the symptoms. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah,
cool.
Definitely.
Well, let's talk about how it helps.
Yeah, can you show that image of the stomach?
Yes, I can.
I like that image. Science class. Okay, cool. Yeah. So this is an image that represents the lining of your dog's stomach, and as you can see here, you got these little like fingerlings on the bottom, which are the lining of the stomach, and then underneath it are the muscles and the subcutaneous skin, all throughout which you see those CB1 and CB2. Those are the things that CBD and the other things, the other compounds in a full spectrum hemp extract, that's what they're attaching onto, and then telling those little organs in your stomach to do a whole bunch of different things that are going to help modulate and correct this inflammatory response and start building back the gut resilience. Oh, it's me. Hi. So, you know, doing a whole number of things that help promote proper gut health. You know, it helps improve gut motility, so the way that the stomach muscles work and move, increases blood flow to the lining of the stomach. It moderates the release of gastric acid and bile, which oftentimes get overproduced in this kind of a scenario. There are a whole bunch of different functions that CBD and other compounds found in a full spectrum hemp extract are going to be able to interact directly with the stomach and do right there on the site.
Yeah, and if we always forget there's possibly people who have never been here before. So, you know, the reason this is happening is because all mammals, we all have a system called the endocannabinoid system that cannabis, CBD, and THC, and all the other compounds, what am I trying to say, work directly with. And this system is responsible for homeostasis, so an even balance in every part of our body, the endocrine system, our gut, our brain health, everything. So when we're talking about something in the gut, there's all these receptors in the gut that's helping this specific issue to keep it in balance.
Hi, Darlene.
Hi, Darlene.
Susan. Susan says, my dog Abner has Lymphangiocetasia. and has been on prednisone for years, starting him on Heal. I've been able to decrease his prednisone to 3 times a week and hoping to get him off it altogether. Wow,
Awesome.
Susan, I didn't know that your dog suffered from this specific condition. That's incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm really glad that this is helping them.
Yeah, please keep us posted. Darlene, hi from Louisiana. Awesome.
Hello.
Yeah, how else? Well, the beauty of the CBD is so many times it helps the root of the problem, which in this case is inflammation. And inflammation is an aspect of the body's immune system. You know, it's there to help. When there's an overreaction and when there's chronic inflammation, that's when the problems come, and that's when something like IBD starts to happen. So in our immune system and our immune cells, there's actually receptors for the endocannabinoid system, both CB1 and CB2 receptors that are attached directly onto these cells. So not only is it helping reduce the inflammation that we've already caused, but it's also modulating the immune system to produce less of these inflammatory responses. So we're treating the actual issue at hand, and we're also helping the body prevent more of it from coming later on. Again, attacking the root of the problem. That's what CBD does. Unlike these medications, it's just kind of suppressing one thing to just kind of keep you symptom free, but then bringing a slew of a lot of other problems. Something that I was doing when I was doing my research that I thought was cool, if anybody wants to nerd out with me, is that you know, our immune cells, both CB1 and CB2 are there, but substantially a lot more CB2 receptors on our immune cells. THC binds directly to that receptor and activates it, which has the anti-inflammatory effect. That's how in research, actually, they did it for autoimmune diseases and they did it for Crohn's disease. And that's where they showed some amazing success. And CBD doesn't really bind to the receptors, but it does interact with it, and it reduces cytokine production and inhibits T cell function, which is how it's helping the immune system and inflammation. There you go.
And cytokines, for those who don't know, are those enzymes and hormones rather in the body that the body releases to indicate it should turn on inflammation. T cells as well do this. So when you inhibit their release, you prevent inflammation from happening before it even begins.
Yeah, totally. There's also a lot, this is off topic, but there's also so much new information coming on how the endocannabinoid system and cannabis can help prevention to HIV and bodies that currently have HIV. They did studies of giving a substantial amount of THC and CBD for like 2 years to monkeys before they gave it their equivalent of HIV, and it just like reduced the chances of them getting it a lot. It's
wow,
pretty incredible stuff.
That is cool. I forgot to mention that one of the main ways that CBD and hemp extract can help is by regulating and encouraging proper gut microbiota. And we have a couple studies that showed in clinical research that CBD actually promotes a healthy gut. And so when we were talking about that syndrome called dysbiosis, which, as I said, is the overgrowth of that bad bacteria and the undergrowth of the good bacteria, CBD is going to help regulate that and create a balance between good and bad bacteria. So that your pet is able to better absorb nutrients, so that there is less of a continuous cycle of more inflammation with that bad bacteria in there, and so you don't have this just becoming even more of a compounding issue.
Totally. We got some questions. Alicia says hello from California. Anne Marie says, when you're going to get, I would be on it constantly. Anne Marie, it is definitely on the list. It definitely will happen sometime. Susan, Heal or ease for IBD. I would do ease because it's 3 incredible anti-inflammatories in there. And we're seeing some really great success for specific inflammation problems with ease. Do you agree, Carter?
I would agree. I think that there's also a case for both of them. The turmeric and frankincense are really great and have been proven as well through research to be fantastic for the gut. But if you were looking for a higher dose of CBD, the Heal is just going to have way more CBD in it than Ease. So you may find that you want to use more CBD. You could do both. You could have Ease be your morning tincture and Heal be your nighttime tincture.
Or do the horse ease. The horse ease is even more potent than the dog Heal, but with the turmeric and frankincense. It's also going to be a matter of how your dog responds and what they specifically need. So if you try ease and you see success, and you try Heal and don't see that much success, vice versa, kind of play around and see what happens. It's so specific to their needs for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Susan uses Heal. Maria says, can CBD help a dog with trachea issues? Yes. My 13-year-old 16-pound dog is a hacking, coughing, gagging somewhat after drinking water, mostly and occasionally after a meal. Yes. We just posted a blog there. Well, while it's not going to help directly with the issue, it's not inflammation based. There's a lot of ways it helps around by relieving inflammation around the trachea, by not triggering any anxiety that actually ends up triggering them to cough. It helps with pain management big time because it is painful for them. We have quite a few reviews on the Ease tincture. If you search collapsed trachea, my sister's dog had amazing success. So it's just going to bring that cough from like a 10 to at least a 4 and keep the pain minimal. There's no cure, but it's just about suppressing it as much as we can and keeping them pain free.
Yeah, and actually, the image that you see on the Ease tincture is Angela Arlino, our founder, her dog Odie, who has collapsed trachea and uses Ease for that very thing. It's also great for, especially this time of year when allergy symptoms are starting to flare because of all the pollen in the air. It's going to help mitigate that by suppressing and moderating the immune response to those allergies, which can create more constriction in here, more constriction through the pulmonary system. So Ease. Take it easy.
The horse Ease is amazing and well worth it. Awesome. I agree. It's my favorite. Amy Brown, is there any conflict with the coconut oil having antibacterial properties, destroying good gut bacteria? Should we avoid dosing at mealtime?
Actually, this is something that I was reading a lot about. Coconut oil is really great for the gut and is especially good for IBD. This is something that a lot of holistic vets will recommend, even without there being a combination with CBD and a full spectrum hemp extract, because coconut oil has a fat in it, what's called lauric acid. And lauric acid is really great for dogs like this because it doesn't have to be digested using lipase, which is an enzyme. So it doesn't require that the body produce more bile and more enzymes that will break it down. It can be really readily absorbed. So this is great for dogs that are already not getting enough nutritional content because of their IBD. And lauric acid is super anti-inflammatory. It's great for these dogs with dysbiosis, so too much bad bacteria, and also helps with allergy symptoms. So this is another one of those things that's going to help with the good bacteria and start mitigating the bad bacteria. Don't worry about using it with food. It's great. It's awesome that it's in there. So yeah, lauric acid from coconuts is awesome.
Susan says, I would love to buy your horse CBD, but for my horse with Cushing's, but money. Yes. Susan, well, a few things. We do have a way to pay it in for installments, which might make it easier. It does end up being cheaper in the long run. It's cheaper per milligram. But Susan, send me an email. I'm going to put my email here. Send me an email. Just kind of let me know what's going on, and I'll see if there's a way we can help in any way.
Yeah.
Did I say the name wrong? No, it's
Hernando.
Julia says, our guy with the seizures has that cough after drinking water too. Can't wait for that ease to arrive. Awesome. Keep us posted. Susan says, what's the difference in dosing from the regular heal and the horse heal? I mean, it's just going to be a lot strong. Yeah, it's twice as strong. So you're going to have, you can give the same milligrams of CBD. It's just going to be less oil. So, when you're giving a full milliliter of heal, dog heal, you can give half a milliliter of horse heal.
But it's the same extract. It's the same. Yeah. It's the same full spectrum hemp extract in MCT oil. So it's not a change of formulation. It's just got more hemp extract per volume unit of carrier oil, which is that really great MCT oil from Cocoa Therapy.
Yes. Yeah, Susan. So half of what I'm giving now. It's about half of what you're giving now. It's more money up front, but it will end up saving you money in the long run. It is cheaper by milligram.
Definitely.
And we have the ease as well. So if you don't want to do the 10,000 milligrams for heal, you can still do the 6,000 milligrams with horse ease and get the turmeric and frankincense, and it's still going to last you a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Maria asks, go for it.
Go ahead. You go.
Okay. Can the drops be put on top of food versus in a dog's mouth? Absolutely. This is something you can do. We always recommend that if you can put it on the gums, this is just going to be a much better place where the body's able to absorb it directly through that mucous membrane, bypassing the liver and the gut where it can be broken down and you get less of the CBD. However, we know that this is not a perfect world and not everybody's going to be able to access their pet's gums. So if you have to put it on the food, that's fine too. That's kind of like the second best route of administration. But just be conscious that you may need to use more in order to get the same effects. It could take longer. And you're just going to have to pay a little bit more attention. There's more variability in how it's going to affect them depending on, what their gut is doing on that day, what they've eaten. So it just requires a little bit more attention and probably a higher dose and more patience.
Yeah. Especially because your dog is going through seizures. If you can put it on the gums, it's much better.
Yeah.
Much better.
Definitely. Cool.
Really just 2 more points on how CBD helps, and it's the symptoms now.
Just quality of life.
Yeah, loss of appetite. It's going to help there a lot. It's going to increase their appetite. And pain relief.
Yeah.
Major pain relief. Again,
pain relief.
Quality of life.
Yep, definitely. And also cannabinoids like CBG are known to have anti-nausea properties. So any kind of nausea happening because of this, it's going to help with that as well.
Yep. Can you rub it in the ear, Mary Terry? You can. It seems through the little research. At the rear.
Can
you rub it on their rear.
I think so. If you're asking if you can use it as a suppository, then yes. Honestly, that's probably better than oral administration. That mucous membrane in there is super receptive to something like this. So
the oil, because we haven't used it with our oil. Do you think the oil would be fine?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are suppositories. Ear.
She did mean ear.
Wow. there are CBD suppositories out there for humans, and it will help a lot.
Cool, I'll be over here. Don't mind me. I'll just shut up then.
Mary, you can't put it in the ear. The very little research we have shows that it's the least amount is going to get into the bloodstream that way, and it's going to take the longest. So you're going to have to use more to get the same effects and wait longer. So if it's the only option, let's say a cat, yes, it's an option, but it's out of gums, ingesting, and ears, it seems like it's the least viable option. But if you want to put it in their rear as well, it's going to work great.
Yeah, I can't imagine that a dog that's not letting you put it in their mouth is going to let them put it in their rear, but who knows?
And Marie said, I can vouch for that. I was using regular Heal for my dog seizures, which was working great, but I was going through too quickly. So I bought the Horse Ease, and it works just as great as it definitely lasts longer. So worth the price. Awesome. And Marie, beautiful. And Marie said, I always know about the rear anyways. So thanks.
See? Okay, good. Well, it wasn't for nothing.
Cool. I mean, that's a lot of ways CBD helps.
Yeah.
The gut, inflammation, the immune system, pain relief, nausea, appetite. It's just kind of like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
like it's just coming at this from a number of directions. You know, don't rely on one immunosuppressive thing. You know, steroids or you know, one thing or another. This is a complex issue that may require a solution that has many parts.
Totally. Some other just advice for you guys. Diet is number one for me. You know, we were listening to Karen Becker Dr. Karen Becker, and talking about feeding a bland diet, sweet potatoes, fresh pumpkin.
Yeah.
Also going to pull up, I think I have here.
That's like when your dog is in the midst of, you know, of the diarrhea and the leaky gut or whatever the symptoms are. At that time, you know, a bland diet that's high in soluble fiber. So as Hernando was saying, just raw canned pumpkin with no other additives to it, ground turkey, lightly cooked ground turkey. That's just really easy for them to process. But then once you kind of get their gut under control, you know, making sure that their diet is full of fresh, high quality foods, really great meat, and that there's some variation in it, because oftentimes, you know, the best thing for their gut is when you can kind of keep it working. It's like training muscles. You gotta, every once in a while you have to change things up so that it can become more resilient and get stronger.
Totally. Answers Pet Food also really recommends goat milk or cow kefir to help. For sure, it's going to help the gut. It's going to help leaky gut. It's going to help IBD. It's going to help vomiting. It's going to help diarrhea. All of that. Tracy says, are there any benefits to feeding your CBD treats, or are they simply treats? No, there's a lot of benefits. As 3 to 4 milligrams in each treat. Again, not as bioavailable as the gums, but still getting it in there. Dogs love them. Cats love them. And it's the best way to get into cats sometimes. And there are some people who swear by them, who are like, all I use.
Especially with something like this, with IBD, where you want it to come directly into contact with the lining of the stomach, to have the CBD already on a treat, like our salmon treats that are high in fat, that are high in really great, you know, omega-3 and 6 fatty acids from fish. They're going to be, you know, it's going right to the place where it's going to be absorbed and be put to use. So, you know, in comparison to, you know, if you have a dog with seizures, you want them to have it system wide. It may be less, it may not be the first thing you want to do, but with something like IBD especially, you want it to be in the gut. You want it to get there. So treats are great.
Very true.
Yeah.
Maria says, does it matter when given before or after meals, or on an empty stomach to get the most out of it? Actually, doing it with fatty foods is best. So obviously you've got the oil, but that our CBD's in, but if you want to give them some peanut butter, if you want to give them some sardines, if you want to give them egg yolks, you know, fatty foods is just going to help it last longer in their bloodstream.
Yep.
Susan says, I cook for my dogs and make a super green food and change out the meats. Susan, I want to be your dogs.
Yeah, right. Susan's dogs have the best life.
Julie says, love Dr. Becker. I was introduced to raw feeding from her book. Yeah, Dr. Becker, if you guys don't know her, she's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
Any other questions out there? Anybody out there? Anybody out there?
I think we covered it.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody has any questions, you got another second, while I look up what we're talking about. Oh, I know what we're talking about next week. Yeast.
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 Yeast infections. How CBD is going to help yeast infections, which is
it is that time of year as spring comes on and things start heating up. Your dogs are outside more often. Our yeasty dogs are definitely getting it coming on.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys.
Cool.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. Please share this. Please share our page. Please tell all your friends. Wait, Heidi says, are your CBD products organic? All of our products are under the Farm Bill, which means they have to be grown in all organic guidelines. We are not certified, but hemp products don't need to be certified because, again, they are grown under the Farm Bill. And then we, of course, have our certificate of analysis to show that there is nothing harmful in there as well.
No pesticides, no fertilizers, no non-organic fertilizers, and no heavy metals or anything, as Hernando said, you can see in the certificates of analysis.
Yes. All following the exact same guidelines. Yeah, so share, comment, like, call us if you have questions, email us if you have questions, message us on Facebook, on Instagram, on our website. We have a chat feature. Your opinions really matter here. Your voice really matters here. So please
we listen to you. Like when we look at what you guys are saying and we're taking that to heart, and we're growing and we're adapting because of what you're saying. And so thank you for all of your feedback. It really helps us kind of know what we're doing right and what we can improve on. So we'll look into getting your app for you, Anne-Marie.
Yes. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a happy weekend. If you're watching RuPaul's Drag Race, Team Got Mick.
It's just us.
Start Friday night.
Every Friday.
Literally not one person has ever responded to it.
No,
but it's something about football. No, it's ladies. Thank God it's ladies.
Dudes are welcome too, but
they're welcome too. I know, but the ladies love us so much.
Speak for yourself.
I was saying it. I was like,
we need to stop. This is over. Good night.
Goodbye.
All right, I'm embarrassed. Bye.
In the rear.
Look how red I turned because of you.
In the rear.
Yeah, this is more embarrassing than the rear. All right. Goodbye.
And